This is my boomstick!
No, Doctor. You played yourself. I specifically chose the Egg Emperor once I realized it was you who raided my power core reserves.
Greater love hath no one than he who lays down his life for his friend.
Oh, you're so cute when you beg.
Heartfelt from you? Sinbad, you don't have a heart.
Собственно, банка для компота, чтобы налить сюда компот и пить, соответственно, вкусненько, сладенько.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff.
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try, but two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest, I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest, you are Athena.
Athena.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kata, your absolutely favorite and only host. And I'm very happy to see some familiar and unfamiliar faces. I'm glad to see that the chat is very active today. And I'm very excited to present today's new, you can call it a workshop. For those here who are with us for the first time, let me give you the tour of the school. We are Animation Club School, an online school focused on creating professionals for the 2D animation industry in traditional animation, cleanup, visual development, and even a creation of a whole short film. Our current film creation class is actually creating an animated opening for a Cinanima festival. Cinanima has been running for more than 4 decades, being an Oscar qualifying event, and is gathering all kind of animation talents all over the world. So be on the lookout for that one. And for the discussion of today's short film creation, a tribute to the epic musical. And actually be on the lookout for the next start. Maybe your animations are gonna shine on the big screen along with all of our great students. So whether you're only starting in animation or you're perfecting your existing craft, you're always welcome to become a part of our school. You can click the link in the description to start your animation journey. Now, you don't even have to stop the stream. It's going to be that quick. But we not only share our courses, we also value sharing our knowledge with everyone who is interested in animation in general. That includes you, both with students and animation enthusiasts alike. So today we're having a lot of guests, as you will notice very soon, and all of them took part in the creation of the tribute to the epic musical. Each of them had their own roles to play, their own responsibilities, their own challenges, and you will find out about the whole process from the idea creation up to the publication of the short. So before we jump into the best part of the workshop, let me remind you about your ability to ask us questions in chat. There are a couple of rules, though. I have to lay out them. First, questions have to be respectful, be about animation, our school, professional backgrounds, or any kind of advice you want. And last but not least, they need to have the word question in all caps before you write the question out. I just have a bunch of stuff running on my screen, and I already have problems with my attention span. So if you're going to be asking us a question, please put a big word question in all caps. So I'll be able to locate it, put it in my little notebook, and ask it. Sometimes I'll ask the questions right away if they're going well into the flow of the conversation. Sometimes I could keep them for a later time if I feel the questions require more attention or they're just that juicy that we're just going to spend a lot of time talking about them. So, first of all, let us rewatch the tribute one more time. And if Vitalia, if you're so kind, could you put the epic tribute on the big screen for us?
Show yourself. I know you're watching me. Show yourself. I can see you.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff.
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try, but two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest. I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest. You are Athena.
Athena.
That tribute is absolutely amazing. Every time I see it, I'm just taken aback by the level of the quality and just how masterful it was made. And I think all of you in the chat probably also saw it a bunch of times, judging by the amount of reactions in the chat right now. And before we dive into the backstage of the process, I actually want to introduce you to one of the mentors who was guiding and helping our students in the creation of the short film. Chat, please meet Edward Kruchevsky, our mentor in traditional 2D animation. He was leading our students throughout the whole production. And Edward, would you like to introduce yourself to the chat?
Hello, my name is Edward Kruchevsky. I've been teaching this in this school already like for 8 years. And yeah, today we're gonna talk about our work in progress on this amazing project, Epic.
Amazing. There's also another person that actually did influence the creation of the production by quite a lot. And they also have a little reaction for us that I think would be very good to include today. Chad, you can also welcome the actual creator of the epic musical. He's not here with us, but he has a special cameo that he was very excited to share with us. So, Vitalia, if you could put up the little hello we have from Jorge Rivera Herons.
Hello, students of Litar Studios. I want to take a second to say thank you so much for the incredible, beautiful animation you guys made for Warrior of the Mind. My jaw was on the floor the entire time. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. You guys are so talented, and I hope you guys are super proud. Literally, the part where the fires came in at the end had me like... Amazing, masterful, masterpiece. I hope you guys are so proud. Thank you again for making such a beautiful animation, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Well, that's always amazing to hear. And now we can actually dive into the meat of today's workshop and actually give a shout out to all of our students who've been working on the production of the short and that are here today with us. Because of them, we're able to produce the short in the first place, and they have a lot of stuff to share with us today. I want to go step by step, chronologically, how we started and where we ended up with. So let's talk about the idea creation. So how did you come up with the idea? How did you choose Epic? And were there different decisions you had to make in the very beginning of the process about picking the songs and stuff like that? Barbara, would you like to talk a little bit how everything started?
Hi, I'm Barbara. I was animator, director, and a couple other roles on the project. So first about the short film creation course in general. There are several departments like animation, effects, compositing, etc. And people from each department are students from different educational programs from the school. And for some students, this course is an extra month after the main course. For some, it's the second course. And for the animators, it's the fourth and the final course of the whole animation character to the animation program. So I became an Epic fan not long before the third course and animated for Epic during it. And close to the end of the third course, there was an event called Slет Animatorov. It's an annual event created to gather people from the animation industry together. And here I first met a lot of my classmates in real life for the first time, because the school is online. And mentors, and in general, a lot of cool people from the industry. And I yapped about Epic to everyone who was willing to listen, and described how cool it is and how cool it would be to animate it on the fourth course. And I described it to everyone. And at some point, me and Jana were at the line to the ladies' room. And I was telling her about Epic very emotionally and loudly. And suddenly, a girl from the same line, a girl with pink hair, like turned to us, and she was like, "Have you said Odysseus?" And I was like, "Yes, Epic." So this girl was Alat. She's a visual developer, and then we had already had 2 animators and 1 visual developer, and we were interested in this project. So we made a Discord server and began to make very early sketches for character design, very early animatics. And we did it like a month before the course officially started. Also, during this month, I pitched the idea to the school administration, described how cool it would be for them as well. And they agreed to make Epic on the 4th course. So that's how it all started at the very beginning. I'm
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing. I like how the story of the creation, the picking up the film is called within the team, kind of the toilet saga, the toilet story, which I find amazing.
Maybe I can tell also about the course itself, maybe a bit, like to explain to our viewers who didn't know about this course, etc. So basically, this is like for short film creation course that we every 4 months gather people from the school, and also if you already experienced, you can jump in and show your portfolio to qualify. And basically, every time we make some different themes, different ideas. And yeah, and when Varvara pitched me on this event, like this epic idea, I didn't know that epic exists. She just told me that it's super cool, very huge fandom. It's gonna be everyone gonna like it. So I said like, yeah, sure, because I saw that if I say no, she will just kill me, and just okay, I have no other choice just to agree and just let her just do this, because she was so passionate about Epic. So yeah, thanks to that, we met 1 month after the event, and we basically start the job. But in general, this is short film creation is like Varvara said, we have 4 groups, 4 teams: animation, VizDev, FX, and compositing. And we behind the under the school recreate professional pipeline and prepare students for real life, and also like just to teach them how to create their own projects.
Exactly. I also think it gives us a big opportunity because a lot of the animation courses, they mostly focus on your personal work and how developing your personal skills. But once you step into the short film project, it allows you for like experiencing the actual animation pipeline from the very beginning of it to the very end of it. And animation is, first of all, it's all about collaboration and working together. Well, I mean, I think on 99% of the projects you're going to encounter. So you always need to know how to interact, how to build a pipeline, how to be aware of your deadlines, and all of that. Of course, you'll be able to train yourself on during the short film course. So I wanted to ask a little bit more about how did you decide which song you're gonna do, and how the development and picking of the selected piece decided to go. A little disclaimer. First of all, let's welcome Yana to the big screen. Yana, give us a big wave. Hello. Yes. Yana will be speaking in Russian and I'll be translating everything in English. So get ready.
Итак, меня зовут Яна. Я была одним из аниматоров данного проекта и по совместительству также одной из первых, кто присоединился к нему. Как и сказала Варвара, мы познакомились на фестивале, и я, честно скажу, с Эпиком была до этого не знакома, зато была знакома с Варварой теперь. Поэтому я была просто обязана.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yana. I'm the animator of the project, and I was one of the first people who decided to join the project. I didn't know Epic as a fandom, as a piece of culture, but I knew Varvara very well. We met on the festival.
Поэтому я была обязана послушать все и все по Эпику, все песни, все композиции. И, ну, очевидно, я была в восторге. Эпик, я не думаю, что он может кому-то не понравиться.
And of course, I had to listen to all of the songs, all of the compositions. And honestly, I was just amazed by the project.
И такое количество невероятных песен, очевидно, привело к одному из сложнейших вопросов в создании всего проекта. Такую, в общем-то, песню выбрать из всего этого разнообразия.
And the amount of songs, it basically met us with a very hard choice we had to make. Which song are we actually going to animate on the project?
В итоге мы попробовали несколько вариантов. Каждый из команды предложил свой. Я, прослушав весь эпик и являясь человеком, который только-только познакомился с данной историей, решила, что, как и многие люди, мне бы хотелось, наверное, увидеть момент, который можно было понять и без контекста. И причем в композиции, как раз-таки, которую выбрала я для создания аниматика самого первого, Warrior of the Mind, выбран также был момент, в котором происходит знакомство, в общем-то, Одиссея с Афиной, что является довольно знаковым моментом во всем мюзикле в целом.
Mhm. So we tried a bunch of different options, and of course, everyone from the team they showed their own suggestions. But since I only got introduced to the project very recently, I decided that it would be very nice if we could pick a moment that could be understood without the context of the rest of the musical. So I decided to suggest a composition from Warrior of the Mind. And also, I think it was a very good pick because it allowed us to meet Odysseus and Athena without knowing their backstories. It was a very good introduction to them.
Также мы еще рассматривали такие песни, как Wouldn't You Like, No Longer You, и много других, но в итоге многие из девочек согласились с моими предложениями и в целом выбором песни, поэтому, приступив к уже созданию аниматика, я решила заострить свое внимание на 3 вещах. Это соблюдать основные правила монтажа, которые я нашла в интернете. Это сделать его довольно простым, учитывая то, что наша команда состояла всего из 3 человек, и не все из нас профессионалы настолько, чтобы делать какие-то невероятно сложные шоты. Однако, тем не менее, последним пунктом было то, что хотелось сделать эффектно, хотелось сделать запоминающееся, чтобы каждый человек, который увидит начало, захотел досмотреть это до конца.
And we also were considering other parts of the musical, like Wouldn't You Like or No Longer You. And we eventually agreed to do the Warrior of the Mind piece. When I started doing the animatic, I tried to focus on 3 things specifically. First of all, is the rules of editing that I found on the internet. Second, that it had to be simple enough for us to be able to actually complete and do it very well. We were still only 3 people in the production at the time, and we were all students, weren't professional yet. But we still wanted to do something really, really good. And of course, the last but not the least, we had to make something that is gonna stand out. So people would actually want to watch it from the beginning to the end.
If I can say something here, I'm sorry
Yeah, of
if I
course.
want to interrupt. Yeah, like Yana said, we had like 3 projects, 3, storyboards in the beginning that girls presented me. It was Water of the Mind, and something like Nova, right? Another VSDF artist from the team presented, and I think a lot, right? It was something from you, right? About like Hercule. No, not you, but someone else.
No.
But it's your Varvar. Okay, so in general, when we just decided, when we watched it together in the first meeting, we had to decide which one because we couldn't do it 3 in the same time. So for me, this moment that the girls picked from the War of the Mind was the most catchy, and without, like Yana said, without the context, understandable. It was like perfect moment when they meet like Athena and Odysseus together, and for me it was it was the best choice. And but maybe for the future we're gonna do, maybe, who knows, like other other storyboards, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Вот, ну и так при помощи ТВ-Пейнта мы и подготовили наш аниматик, постоянно показывая его нашим менторам, которые улучшали его с каждым нашим занятием, которые были в начале производства. И у нас, я считаю, вышел отличный аниматик, который мы смогли в полной мере воплотить в анимации. Конечно, и были моменты, которые предлагали другие девочки, и некоторые из них были действительно очень интересными. Однако мы понимали, что нам можно выделить не больше 30 секунд всей песни. И у нас, учитывая музыку, было ограниченное количество времени на все наши идеи.
So, with the help of TV Paint, we actually created an animatic that we were improving every week with every feedback session we had. And I think we came up to a very, very good result that we were actually being able to put into real life, into animation. We had little bits and pieces that were suggested from all over the team. But at the same time, we try to keep in mind that we only had 30 seconds to do the whole thing. And we had to be confined by those rules so we wouldn't go too big on the project and not be able to complete it.
Ну, по аниматику, наверное, все. Единственное, вот сейчас на экране можно видеть аниматик уже более дополненный, куда мы вставляли уже начальные этапы анимации, поскольку мы улучшали его до тех пор, пока не были точно уверены в том, что все работает.
And right now, you can see the improved version of the animatic that was going right now. We tried to improve it till the point where we were confident enough that everything has been working. It even has some first bits of the animation itself. Anything else you'd like to add? Are we good? We're good. Thank you for showing us this vital piece. I think from the storyboard, everything else like hinges on it because this is where your ideas are basically coming up to life. We have actually a little question from Eve Campbell, and everyone who would like to, you can answer as well. Are you considering doing another epic animation in the future? Oh, people are muted, but I could hear the screams. Yes, Barbara.
If someone will give us money, we can. But at least I'm not planning to do it for free anymore.
Yeah, money
it was-
and production rights.
I mean, the whole production was kind of like 6 months from the beginning, I guess, to the end. And it was like around how many, like 20 people in total, maybe 15 around. So, it's like it's a big semi-professional production, I would say. I mean, it's like a professional production, but under umbrella of the school, right? That's why. And to do the full project with the like high quality, yeah, it would take even more time. Or if start new piece, it's like a new visual development, etc. So it's just too much for the fun, just to make it like real quick. Let's gather like for weekend just to create something like 40 seconds. I mean, it's possible, but probably it's gonna be something like we have to cut the angles and will be not as good. So who knows? Maybe something will change, and in the future we're gonna do something more for Epic. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Thank you, Yana and Barbara, for sharing with us the steps of the idea creation and the kind of pre production of the short. But now let's go actually to the development of the uh, product feature, and it's officially called pre-production. The amount of times I said pre, I think I'm getting a little dizzy. First of all, I wanted to talk about the visual development on the characters and on the backgrounds. So, first, let's talk about the characters themselves. And today we have Alilat, who is going to share more about the whole process and how it took place. Giving you the mic.
Hi everyone, my name is Edlat. I was the character development developer on this wonderful project. Yes, I was the ultimate pink girl that we needed to complete it. Uh, the one from the toilet saga, it was me. I really like the quote from last time Yana did. The meeting was legendary, as well as the squeals of happiness that me and Varvara yelled when we met. So it was meant to be, as they say. So yeah. Meanwhile, while the animators were sweating on the animatics, my job as a visual developer, and mine as well as Nova's, my other colleague on my visual development department, with the help of our mentors and our team, of course, we started developing first sketches. Here on my board, you can see some of the first sketches that I've had pitched that was somewhat done in my style. My job as a character visual artist was to make design so appealing and so easy to animate that it will be, how to put it, that could include cool shapes, really cool faces, and animators will not want to suffer throughout the process, obviously. This was the first drawings that I brought to our mentors. As you can see, there's also some Hermes drawings over here. As you've heard from my colleagues, they did say we did consider other animatics, so yeah, there was also that. But if you were to compare my first Athena sketches to the ones that you saw in the final output, they are completely different, as in she looks more human-like, but we decided that, hey, we want to do something more godlike as or more otherworldly. So we made the size difference of them a lot more taller because they were supposed to be not so different in height. But our beautiful mentor by the name of Andrei Sitari did say, no, we gotta make the woman big. And that's what we did.
It's all his fault.
Somewhat, in a way. But yeah, so all hands were put on deck, and throughout the final week of our pitch presentation, we made the final character lineup. And with the help of my colleague Nova, we actually decided on the final colors, which I think look wonderful. But yes, but throughout the creation of characters, I think Athena was least hard to do because we pretty much settled on her silhouette and her design almost straight away, because if you can see from my very first sketches of the silhouettes over here to the final output, they look pretty much identical, I'd say. So yeah, probably the hardest choice with Athena was to come up with a design so that can still show off her cool godlike glory, but now we gotta hide it with a cape. And I was really tweaking out throughout the process because I was actually against putting her in a cloak, but but it would make sense that we were supposed to hide her.
Yeah.
There was some version where she was just an owl. You could still see an owl there as well. So yeah.
I think it was a good choice, and also I think because of her eyes is like a white, and we don't see her face actually clearly without a helmet, so it's just the beginning of their relationship, right? And our main character is Odysseus, and we don't know her character right away. So she's kind of like shady for us and unhuman, let's say, because of this of her eyes and the shape. That's why I think it's a good beginning, and it's a good first moment when they met. And also this like shape shifting to the owl. So we just see, like Odysseus more emotional and more human, like trickster and like very very canny. So yeah, it's a good I would say contrast. Thank you.
Yeah, well, since our lineup only consists of two characters, and when you create characters, you always create them in the lineup. You always have to consider how they complement each other. So I was also considering, well, since Athena is mostly associated with cooler colors like wisdom, what is associated with wisdom? Some probably cooler or deeper, darker colors. And Odysseus is more like hot-headed young man, um, which there's a bunch of discussions within the fandom itself as though how old was Odysseus when he met Athena? And we can go for a long discussion whether to speculate, oh, in Iliad he was this, and in the epic he was this. But we decided to settle that, hey, he was a crowned king of Ithaca, was about to take his throne. He's probably a young man around his 20s, Telemachus' age. Whoever is in from epic fandom is here will get it. So yeah, he's like around 20 years old over here. Actually, speaking about Odysseus, he was the one who gave us the most headache throughout the production process because it was rather hard to come up with the design for Odysseus, the one that would not go too far off his fandom design, or so to say. Like every single time, shout out to this, by the way. Every single time we drew his silhouette or I did something, he would look like somebody else from the same very musical, because the canon designs, the ones that we see in animatics or from live streams that Jay usually conducted when he released a new saga, they are kind of more leaned towards realistic or lean towards looking more like their voice counterpart, like their singing counterpart. So that's why they don't usually like vary in silhouettes. And every single time I drew Odysseus like something a little bit different, he would look like other character from the very same musical. So it was rather tough because over here, like this number 3 sketch from the ones that I did, like very one of the first ones. This I would say he kind of reminds me of Eurylochus, maybe his face or something like this.
Yeah.
Maybe like number 1 kind of looks like Antinous, but whatever. And eventually the team said, oh my god, we like the homeless man that by number 4, so we kind of like that one. And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta mention very important part. If you're doing a development in a team, obviously your opinion is considered, but it's optional. So you always have to listen to the opinions of the majority, but you kind of thread and include some of your own touches. My
Yeah.
colleague Yana, the one who was responsible for animatic, also did some cool costume designs for Odysseus as well. We had to make him look more royalty like. So yeah, here's some of the mood boards as well for some real life people examples. But yeah, honestly, when you're researching stuff, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be really messy, and just stick to it. You'll find whatever you're looking for eventually.
You
And
know,
yeah,
like every time I listen the epic now, I just imagine him like we did. Like it's for me, it's like it's a perfect match. I mean, so
I mean,
Yeah, it fits him very well.
there is really cool designs of Odysseus out there, but every single time, every single person that I've seen, he always has the sassy goatee, so it was a must. Eventually I did this portrait lineup, and then Andre said, oh my god, yes, this.
can you go in
And
close up, please?
oh yes, uh this portrait lineup was actually the one that kind of settled us for the Odysseus design. After that, we kind of just moved from the dead end because I remember us kind of being stuck at some point. Like we would meet like third or second week in a row, and we would find ourselves still trying to figure out what to do with Odysseus. And one day, like, I'm done. If you want different, I show you different, and I show up with a bunch of different faces for him. And afterwards, we settled on number 7 and number 5, and that's when we started actually moving from the dead end. And I come up with a final Odysseus design that is probably somewhere right over here. Yes, he is right here. And it was time to work for to work on turnarounds and clean designs because animators need everything in detail. Obviously, I had to show Athena in cape outside of it. Although Athena wasn't like in the cape for 90% of the animation, I had to figure out her structure because you still have to know what character looks like, even if they're wearing like a big droopy clothes for different action scenes. Like at some point in one of the shots, Athena like leans down and we kind of see the structure of her body and the inside of her design. So that had to be done, especially. But yeah, it took me quite a bit of time to do that, but it was successful in the end. Although it was really sweaty task because animators already need the finished designs right now, like right this instant. And I'm like, okay, I got this. So yeah, but at least it was just two characters. So eventually, we persevered, we pulled through, and yes, the final lineup was actually done 20 minutes before our pitch meeting, but details, am I right? It's history. But another great part of visual development is obviously backgrounds and colors and how the project looks. And I will pass on the microphone to my other visual development colleague, Nova, who was responsible for this beautiful, beautiful color palettes. And yes. Thank you.
That was a beautiful, beautiful segue.
Beautiful, beautiful segue.
For the beautiful, beautiful other visual development artist. Let's welcome Nova. Giving you the floor.
Hi. My name is Nova. I got to work as the other visual development artist on this project. And also I did the background concept designs and all of the color palettes and color scripting for a short film. Colors was definitely my favorite part of the process, as it's what I want to go into eventually, is color scripting. So here we have some of the very first concepts that I did. And this was before we had the final Odysseus design. So I was just playing around with, I kind of just go with like the first ideas that come to my head. And then I'll think, all right, I have this one. Now what can I change? What can I do differently? And just playing around with different ideas, you know, I think it's very important to go with ideas, even if you don't think it's the one you want to go with, just to try something, just to see if it works and to challenge yourself to like, what if you went in this direction? Like this one over here, this last one, I had 3 already. I wanted a 4th one. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. He's a little more pinkish here, gave him brown cape, which is not how I picture Odysseus, but it was fun just to do something different. And then down here was the first concepts for Athena. And I did not actually realize at first that colder colors were her signatures. I was leaning more towards the warrior goddess. So then you can see up here after the team informed me, I did some ones where I had some like purple design I kind of liked the purple. And then her typical blue, which we did agree as a team that blue was the best fit. And for Odysseus, a lot of times he's shown in blue, but you know, for this project, we had Athena in blue. We had all of our backgrounds had a lot of blue in them. And we really wanted Odysseus to pop from the background. So I liked the red for him, especially he's younger here. Maybe he had a different look than he does now. And we also want to show his like royalty aspect. So we all decided we really liked the like white robe, just mixed with that like red. I feel like he's a little more spunky. He's a little, when he's younger, I think it adds to that personality for him. And then after the color palettes, first came some just concepts of like the time of day that we wanted the animation to take place in. So down here, I just played around with a ton of different, very rough concepts colors. And we all gravitated towards either nighttime or very early morning. And eventually we agreed on early morning, which I think was very fun. And then when I started doing the actual color scripting, I definitely was leaning more towards like teals to signify it's like, because we wanted that early morning feeling, but the sun hadn't quite risen yet. So leaning more towards teals instead of those darker blues so that it did not feel like it's completely dead of the night. And also allowed for like, you know, the fires to pop later when they came in. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, so over here, this was like the final color script. I actually, at some point when I was struggling with like doing the whole thing, I went for a walk outside and I had just the song on a loop in my headphones. And I just like kept picturing the scene until I had it like crystal clear in my head exactly how I wanted it to look. And I loved the idea of this like foggy atmosphere because it feels very mysterious at the beginning where he's being watched. He kind of senses someone is watching him. And then later the fires come in and I feel like it brightens everything up a lot. You know, we get to see her now. She hasn't fully revealed herself yet. But it's a little less mysterious. And then at the final ending, we have like the sun rising, which gives, you know, she gives her this like powerful goddess vibe. And I also feel like it gives a little bit of that like hopefulness because I picture like Odysseus is very similar to Telemachus, of course, where he's younger here. He's probably just thinking of like, oh my God, this like amazing goddess is here to help me. So I really liked those feelings when doing the colors. And then I also worked as the background lead, so I can talk a bit about the background concepts. I actually was not well versed in backgrounds at all before this project. I had mostly been researching color scripting, but a lot had already taken the role of character designer. So I pretty much just went, all right, guess I'm going to learn backgrounds. I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the project brushing up on my perspective skills alongside doing all of the sketching and thumbnails for the temple design and the first shot. So it was definitely a team effort with the backgrounds. We had some of our animators ended up helping come up with like designs. Funnily enough, the pillars gave us the most trouble. I can't tell you how many different variations we had of pillar sketches. Everything's like kind of scattered around this board. But yeah, we had done so many designs. Some other people did designs, like Varia did some, Alat did some. And then finally I did like one that our instructor approved. It was like right at near the end of our deadline for getting all the concept work finished up. And we were like, oh, finally. Finally, something got approved. And then for the temple itself, I had done some designs, but we went with one that was designed by Yana. Because our team agreed that we liked the circular temple because with the animatic that we already had, it fit with the shots. So this did actually prove to be a little bit of trouble in the production process because when you have a circular temple, each pillar turns in perspective, meaning it was you could not just copy and paste the pillars like you could if they were on a straight line. And that's when we decided, some members of our team brought up, they're like, hey, maybe we can make a simple 3D model just to help us with reference for getting like all of those camera angles. So if someone would like to pull up the 3D model, we can show that.
I think, yep, Varvara has it.
I have to mention it's insane because 3 people eventually worked on this model.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah, it went. Yeah.
go. I just wanted to tell like about the background, like they looked amazing, and I really like how, I mean, the idea of the morning, and then when Athena reveals herself, this like fire shot that Anastasia created, just like, and that changed the mood. Totally in the project was very cool, and yeah, like Nova said in the end, the sunrise just amplified the Athena's complete reveal. It was very, very good. Like everything matched so well. And
Thank you.
Jay especially like several times mentioned like this like fire circular like shot. It was just like he had the goose. What's the name of it? Goose skin like.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me neither. Like, so it's so good.
But yeah, so here we have the 3D model, which, yeah, we had done like one layout first, and that's when we're like, oh, perspective is going to be rough with this. So I know it went through like a few people, and eventually it landed back to me, which I had tweaked the design just a little bit to match with the final sketch of the pillars that I had done.
Wow.
But pretty much we would set up the camera angles in the 3D model that fit with our animatic. And then we found we couldn't actually just trace over it because it made the backgrounds feel very stiff looking. So we just use it as reference to look at.
Yeah, many people ask us like when did you use this like 3D models? So again, we didn't use them in the shots, right? There was only like as a reference for
Yes.
Nova and for the team.
But yeah, I want to give also a shout out to we had two other background helpers, Kirill and Xenia. Kirill helped the most, and Xenia helped with one of the layout shots. And pretty much layouts is like the final clean sketch before we move on to coloring the backgrounds. So once my helpers would be done with like those, I then could go in and paint the backgrounds. And I actually have here I can show you the file for one of our backgrounds. They wanted me to speak on, we had specifically one shot that had an animated floor. And as a team in one of our classes, we were on call like, hey, how should we go about doing the shot since we kind of have these like detailed painted backgrounds? How are we going to do that with an animation? My instructor, Andre, then went, well, if I'm crazy enough, I could hand paint each frame. And that is exactly what I did.
Oh, really?
Little did he know we were crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
I'll show you crazy.
So yeah, we can move the screen back over to mine.
No, in the end, it looks like it looked very well. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I did find some ways to cheese it. We switch back. There we go. So I'll show, this was like the final like sketch that of the layout. I had done this layout. So Vadia sent to me the file with the frames for the floor. And then I built the layout around that for the rest of the shot. And then I can turn everything else back on. Turn on all the layers. Yeah, this is one of my biggest files for this project. There's lots of stuff going on. So I had all of the background stuff set up. And then I kind of went frame by frame, which I have this one here. Turn some of this off. So the way that I found out how to do this without making too much work for myself was this is before all of the effects. I went in and just had the base colors for each of the frame. And then this is the magic button. I turn on all of the effects overlay layers, and it made the process a lot easier for myself so that I did not have to hand paint all of the lighting per frame. So that is how the animated shot works. And I did keep, it was like a particle effect brush that I used for throughout all of the paint backgrounds. And I did add that in because it added movement. So that was the only like main thing that I painted per frame was like adding those particles because it felt very, it didn't feel alive enough without those. It felt very flat. And then so I did add those. But yeah, so it's eight entire frames that I went by hand. So yeah, that was the work that I did for this project. I can hand it off the mic to whoever's next.
Amazing,
Before we
amazing.
actually move into production, we have a couple of questions from Edwin Space. It will be both to the character designer and the background designer. First, let's go to the characters. What was the biggest inspiration for the project, for the character designs? Apart from Epic, where did you source your inspirations from?
Well, first of all, hi sis, thank you for your question. The main source of the character design is actually has a lot of people noticed down our animation video. People actually started commenting a lot about how the style really reminded me of the El Dorado or the really like Renaissance DreamWorks style-esque or Hercules, like Sinbad, yes, especially Sinbad. The charisma of that man was a big inspiration for the characters. I wanted to talk a little bit about mood board, about our pitch presentation sections, but I'll just, since the question was about it, we're just gonna briefly brush on that. Mainly, we just wanted to highlight the really curvy and dramatic designs of the characters and similar shapes that these characters also had in the show that represented it, obviously, as well as the line art. Here you can see shout out to Owl House and Goblin's team for inspiring it. But yeah, that's pretty much that. We wanted to do something unique.
Well, yeah, I think you perfectly achieved it. And also another question for the visual development on the backgrounds. Again, what was the biggest inspiration for the backgrounds? Were you inspired by real places?
Yeah, so we definitely had a lot of reference in the first part of the process, looking at like Greek temples and like mosaics for the floors. Yana also did the final mosaic sketch that we used. She had a lot of different like designs, and we just chose the one that we liked the best. I will say, like later on in the process, Arcane actually season 2 dropped, and I would say that was a huge inspiration for me personally, because I love the design of that show. I also referenced a little bit of like Hercules animated movie, and also the Klaus movie, because that's another movie that I think is beautifully animated. So those were my main like inspiration alongside like the real life reference for the backgrounds.
Amazing. So now let's move to the creation of the shots. I'm finally ready to give the mic to the animation crew. So let's hear a little bit about before actually they started animating, about the pitching process. So I want to call Aylat back to the mic and talk a little bit about what is the pitching process in the school and what you have to bring to it. What do you have to present?
Well, it's a really important thing to remember when you're trying to sell your idea to a person. You gotta speak briefly and you gotta speak to the point. So we had to compile the most appealing and great mood board for our viewers to enjoy and understand. This is the kind of mood board somewhat that you want to show to your client or future participants of your project. You give them the brief idea how your characters and how your project will gonna look like and what you want to go for. As you can see, there are some uh, beautiful artworks that include some of Edward's work. Shout out to Edward. Some of the students of Gobelin's work as well. There's also some backgrounds from Prince of Egypt and Klaus, as Nova mentioned, and overall just some really cool backgrounds that we found on Pinterest. There's also some Hades 2 artworks. There's also my own artworks that we're not gonna go too much in detail. But yes. But this is how your pitching mood board should look like. Your production mood board is a completely different story, as we brought this mood board to Andre during our first lesson for visual development, and he said, if I were to see this mood board for the production brought to me the first day, I would actually fire you on the spot. And we were like, oh, that's really silly. We kind of mistook and misjudged how mood board for production and pitch should look like. And in reality, the mood board for production should look really, really messy and scattered, because you're trying to just include every single little detail that there is to like about. Like, for example, there are some realistic pictures of Pantheon and the columns, some this and that. There's some mosaics here. The ornaments, every single thing that you just found likable, you put it on the board. Every single person on our team just kind of put whatever they liked in here for each and every reference, and then they just described what they liked. And eventually, when you need to come up with a pitch, you just select the key images and you compile it to the small one. That's it. That's all there is to be shown. As well as for the pitch, I had to come up with a final lineup, of course. Sometimes when you do a pitch presentation for a bigger project, as if we were to do a series, we would also present a pilot episode, but that's not what we're doing. So yeah, I've had shown some character turnarounds, but they were not so detailed as in full size. I had to speed run them in less than a week. So I just drew their torsos floating in the sky or whatever, and the lineup as well. And some of the first development sketches, basically, I was telling the same thing to the people that I just told you about the pre-production and the animatic, because that's all we had so far, obviously. So we just quickly schemed through that and told people what to expect and what to enjoy from this project as well. And oh yes, I forgot to mention, you kind of also need to do a style frame as well. Style frame is basically image of how your final project will look like. I'm actually struggling to find it here because we actually had a few versions of style frame eventually that we will also talk about as well, because we actually overlooked the part of style frame a lot in our first part of the production, which was our big mistake. But I'm sure people on in the production saga will talk about it. But yeah, I found this.
I found it. It's up here.
Oh, okay.
If you follow my cursor.
This was the first layout for the style frame, which you can see the first early draft of Odysseus design. He doesn't look like his final design, obviously, but this was what we're settled for because his design and animatic that we showed in pitch presentation was also different. Where's your cursor, Nova? Oh,
here.
I see you. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yes. Oof. This was our style frame that we also showed to the students that came to our first pitch lecture. And this was somewhat settled design for Athena with a little less details, obviously. And yeah, we pretty much already had the idea in mind of, yeah, we want it to be like the early-ish morning. So there's also like sunrise drawn here. And it overall, in my opinion, looks more closer to Sinbad design than what we have in our final input in this style frame. But we had to obviously move on from that eventually. So yeah, after we basically pitched our idea, it was actually time to start working because more people and helpers came to help us, and all hands on deck from there. And yeah, that's when the actual production part of the process have begun. So yes.
It's also actually important to say for whom we pitch, right? Because we pitch for the whole team who join after, because the pitching session we have 1 month after the beginning of work on the project. So basically,
that's different one pitch. We had one pitch, and this was the second one, already after the first month of the course.
yeah, and you're talking about which one?
The one after we already done the animatic and the designs.
Yeah, so it's basically after 1 month when you pitched for the FX, for the compositing team, and for the whole school. Basically, it's when you basically tell the story that you already kind of develop the visual, the visuals, and also just share with people from the school, and hope they will join the team, the project, and help you with FX and compositing. So it's very important moment when students basically learn how to present, like I said, present the idea very briefly and on point. So yeah.
Yeah, you have to put a lot of effort into that charisma, not just your project.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's move into the actual animation, the production of the short. And I would love to hear from every animator that we have here, it's probably like the whole animation team almost, to talk about their personal challenges and shots and their experience on the production. So, who would like to go first? Barbara, giving you the floor.
So can you see? Yes, my screen is here. So my most difficult shot was this. And maybe it was the most difficult shot out of all, not only mine, because it's very complex and tricky for, I guess, every department. And not only this, we also had to synchronize with all those difficulties between ourselves. So in terms of animation, here's my animation file. So in terms of animation, like character animation, it was difficult because he's turning around because the camera is turning around, and the speed of the camera is slow at the beginning, then gradually going up, then gradually going down, and stops also gradually. Also, he's turning on his legs. Also, every part of his body is turning with different speed, like here, his chest and his face are facing different angles. So also, he's tilting back and forward several times. Also, he's gesturing with his hands. Also, he acts with his face. And I had to keep all those things in mind at the same time and make it all work together. And on top of everything, camera is zooming out very dramatically. It caused also several problems. So when I began cleanup, it's the final step of animation when the movement is done, design is done, and you have to make like fine art, basically. And as you can see, because camera is zooming out, I had to constantly adjust the thickness of line. Here you can see it's very thick if you look closely, and at the beginning it's very thin. And I had to adjust it constantly to make it without any jumps. And also I had to predict the size of the camera at every moment. Sometimes I even had to adjust some details. Like here you have his earrings filled with gold color, but at the end they are too small and they're just dots. Also it was hard because if I kept the thickness the same through the whole shot, it would be either too thick at the beginning or too thin at the end. But at the same time, it's just a very tricky thing about at least our style of animation. Camera is zooming out for like 7 times from the beginning to the end of the shot. And I also couldn't be like, well, it zooms out 7 times, so at the beginning, so the thickness of line also should be 7 times smaller at the beginning. Because this way, on the contrary, it would be either too thin at the beginning or too thick at the end. Like line is a very complex thing for like always line thickness. So that's why this shot was the most difficult of mine. But the good thing is the shot was very obviously hard and complex. From the very beginning, we knew that we will have problems with it. So from the very beginning, the shot had a lot of attention. It also had a high priority. So at the end, I managed to finish it, I guess, without delay, without any sacrifices in terms of quality, and even in terms of my night sleep, because at the very beginning we planned that it will take a lot of time, and so we managed to do everything correctly. I guess it's all problems and tricky things I had in animation.
Yeah, makes sense. So much effort. Oof. Basically, the whole production of the short was like, I'll show you crazy. Every step of it. Oh, this looks absolutely amazing. Would you like to show us something else, or should we go to the next animator?
No, I'm done.
Perfect. So, who would like to go next? Hello. What are you going to show us today? You're going to appear on the screen in just a second. Oh, I don't think I can hear you. Yeah, something might be with the mic.
Я тогда могу рассказать, пока мы решаем
Yeah,
эти проблемы.
of course. While one of the animators is going to resolve her mic issues, we're going to invite Yana to the mic. As usual, she'll be speaking Russian and I'll be translating everything to you.
Я работала над сценами по большей части с конца ролика, и, если честно, я не могу назвать какую-то проблему настолько серьезную, как у Вари, потому что Варе достался действительно один из самых-самых сложных шотов, а это было понятно еще с аниматика, но мои шоты по большей части были хоть и интересными в работе, но довольно простыми. По крайней мере, учитывая то, что я отучилась 3 курса в нашей прекрасной школе у нашего прекрасного ментора Эдварда и была, в общем-то, готова буквально ко всему.
I can't say I had a personal, very like challenging moment in my production. I think Vara actually got the hardest shot from the whole thing, and we kind of understood it from the creation of the animatic. And my shots, they were very interesting. I was actually going through all of the 3 courses beforehand, before starting the short film course, so I was already prepared to take on any challenge that might await me.
Вот. Единственное, я могу поделиться историей одного шота.
Проверка звука.
Yep, you're working.
Nice.
Речь пойдет сейчас о последнем шоте с Афиной. Я думаю, этот шот запомнили все, поскольку на нем делается акцент, и он последний. Нам наконец-то показывают тут Афину, и мы знали, что этот шот должен быть настолько эффектный, насколько мы можем его сделать.
The last shot with Athena, we had to make it as eye-catching as possible. And I was also part of the process on creating the animation itself.
Так получилось, что у нас небольшая команда, и у нас было очень мало времени. Я думаю, об этом Варвара расскажет позже, но у нас было очень-очень много помощников, безумно классных и талантливых. И над этим проектом поработало действительно очень много людей. Те, что здесь, это далеко не вся наша команда. И шот с Афиной — наглядный пример того, как очень большое количество людей поработало на нем, потому что данный шот делало 5 человек.
And right here, right now, and in general, when we started, we had a pretty small team, and we had a very limited time frame when we could work. But we were very lucky that we had a lot of helpers that were assisting us on the way. And on this project, we actually eventually had a lot of people working and helping us. So you could say it's only a small part of the team that's actually participating on the stream. So to show you actually how complicated sometimes the process is, this shot with Athena, it was done by 5 people in total.
Так, один аниматор сделал начальную раф-анимацию, другой сделал тайдаун, третий этот тайдаун доделал, 4-й, то есть я была 4-м, я сделала лайн и сделала цвет. И еще 5-й человек помогал мне с тенями. И так получилось, что наш последний шот был самым... Не то что сложным, просто у него самая интересная история, и очень здорово, что он в итоге получился таким, каким он получился.
Что вы сделали со всеми аниматорами? Did you eat them?
Это сложно.
Eat the rest of the anime. So basically, the process took place. One animator did the rough animation, the other animator did the tie down animation. The third one was finishing the tie down. The 4th one did the line and did the coloring. The 5th animator came in and helped with the shadows and the shadows. Basically, the last shot was the most kind of interesting in terms of the creation. And I'm very happy and very honored to see how amazing it turned out.
Я думаю, у меня все.
And I think that's everything for me.
I'm ready.
Thank you again. Yay! Now we have one of our animators, Anastasia. So welcome our
Here
chat.
I have 2 shots, the laughter and the turnaround.
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
Yeah, while I was starting the rough animation, our character designer Alad was making layouts for us. Layout is a detailed drawing of a character or an environment that helps animator to keep the design consistent. And it's an example drawing of sorts, like here. You can see that Odysseus is pretty and clean, that's a layout. And also the background. Somewhere at the start of rough animation, I did a reference of myself, filmed myself in a video, just to understand the movement. It was especially important to understand the change in the position and Odysseus' weight change. You can see that at the start, Odi moves the side of the screen. But when I tried myself, I realized it's impossible to turn around that way. So I changed his movement. If you saw the difference, it was now he moves more realistically, and it's easier to understand what he's doing.
And I also love how he laughs like with the song. The movement just complemented so well. Like scratches my
It
brain.
was also it was easy to do because of the song. I just had to laugh on the reference.
Yeah, I think in the short it was one of the interesting moments in terms of acting, because it's like his kind of trickiness, in it, and it's very impressive. Like, haha, I fool you. It's very nice moment.
Yeah. Also, initially, Athena was supposed to walk around Odi, so her cape would cover the screen black and it would make a cool transition. But when I started rough animation, I realized that there's not enough time for that. The shot was too short to that, because Odysseus was the main focus, and Athena shouldn't interrupt his laugh. So I made just a few frames for her to start turning around. Yeah, you see this with the colors. She's just starting turning around. It's also important to mention that because of the amount of work, we couldn't make too many frames, and we often drew as few frames as possible just to make movement look readable and pretty. You might notice that there is inconsistency in frame rate. That's was planned.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to
do.
do.
It's a feature.
Because because we had a lot of comments like why this animation is so kind of unfinished or something. Yeah, like just
chunky.
like exactly. But guys, we did like 6 months to spend this.
Yeah.
And it was like that. It's also like Kata said, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
Exactly.
After tie down, it's this stage. I did a cleanup, like Varvara was saying before. It's just line up with colors. Then there is a cool frame transition.
That I did.
Was done. No. The flame was done by the VFX animators.
Of course. I mean, it was your idea of the shot.
Yeah, the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there is a nice example of teamwork here. First, this shot was the last one done, and we assembled to do it together. You can see there is in the background, it's a layout that Alilad did, and it actually didn't become a key like in the previous shot. But it was needed to understand where the character should stand and the perspective he is in. Then Yana did the rough animation. And I took it from there and did tie down.
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
So beautiful.
Me, what's your
Yeah, and there is also shadows that appears after the flames light up. And I also needed to make a shadow on the floor. That was also an additional task. Yeah, I think that's all.
Nice.
Wonderful. Absolutely amazing. And actually, since we touched a little bit on the VFX, we also have one of the, what do you call it, a representative from the VFX team. Chad, I want you to welcome Constantine because without the contribution of the VFX, I think we would have an amazing tribute, but it wouldn't just be so flashy and eye-catching. So. Konstantin, I'm giving you the mic.
Yep. So hello everyone. I'm Konstantin, and I'm a part of VFX team. And I'm really sorry. English isn't my first language, and it will be a lot easier for me to speak Russian. So Kata, if you wouldn't mind, please a little bit. I ask a little bit for assist.
Of course, no need to be sorry. Fire
Окей.
away.
VFX. Команда у нас состояла из 5 человек, и мы присоединились, собственно, к Эпику в рамках курса 2D-эффекта в анимации, который ведет великолепнейший просто ментор, отличный наставник Слава Лайтсоул. И когда я говорю, что он великолепен, это действительно так и есть, потому что, ну, например, в его портфолио есть работы для Riot Games и для их синематиков. Он же участвовал в создании эффектов для Valorant. Он же работал над Spider-Verse. И я думаю, если вы слышите, что человек работал над такими проектами, я думаю в том, что он фантастический, как бы сомнения отпадают.
Да, точно. Еще последнее он еще и для Ведьмака делал, для полнометражки.
Да.
Еще чтобы добить.
Let me translate that. So, VFX. It was a team out of 5 people. We came onto the production as part of the course on 2D visual effects. The course is being led by Slava Lightsoul. Some of you might have heard of him. Actually, he's been to our YouTube channel a couple of times. So if you go back into our live streams, you can actually see him working on a couple of what'd you call it? Lightnings. I think that was the stream that he did with us. And he's really, really amazing. I can also sign on that. His portfolio, he worked for Riot Games, for Valorant, and he worked on the special effects for Spider-Verse. So, you know, when there are so many amazing projects in someone's portfolio, you don't have any doubt that that person is going to be absolutely amazing. And Edward also added that he worked on the recent Witcher feature. And he had these like amazing shots with like these huge torrents of water, which are very, very hard to do. And of course, it adds, you know, to the coolness of the course and the mentor.
Так, ну, когда мы присоединились к Эпику, к этому проекту, у меня, как у одного из эффектеров, возникло сразу непонимание того, какую роль занимает здесь Варвара. То есть...
Кто это?
Не то, что кто это, но мне сначала показалось, что она одна из, в общем-то, менторов, и потом я узнал, что это не так. А почему я так решил? Во-первых, очень серьезный подход. Во-вторых, очень крутая какая-то вот стандартизация всего, и вообще просто принцип работы был похож на то, как это происходит действительно в коммерческом проекте. Все как-то разложено по полочкам, для всего есть своя таблица, у тебя есть все сроки, все дедлайны, все вообще просто уровень контроля был очень хороший. Собственно, поэтому меня это даже несколько удивило. Вот. Можно, наверное, перевод.
Mhm. And when we joined the Epic production, me as one of the VFX people who came into the production like in the middle of it, at first I didn't understand who Varvara was. I thought she was part of the staff of the school and then I realized it wasn't the truth. She was one of the students. I was just surprised and taken aback by the level of organization, how well she standardized the whole process, how she had these very concrete principles and how everything should be done as if we're working on actual commercial project. Everything had its own place. Every project, every piece had its own like timetable we had to adhere to. The deadlines were very set and people were reminded in time. And I was very, very impressed by just the level of how well organized everything was. Mhm.
Ну и теперь рассмотрим несколько шотов. Я здесь повключал уже часть из них, вот, и на которых виден процесс того, как примерно это все создавалось. Здесь стоит сказать такую вещь, что если девушки ранее говорили, что у них все началось, по сути, с персонажа, и это так и должно быть, то есть ты придумываешь концепт персонажа, потом ты его оживляешь. В VFX-группе происходит несколько иначе. У нас был ряд эффектов. Кстати, нам повезло. Эффектов было 5, человек было тоже 5. И это выгодно отличало нас от аниматоров. Вот. Но у нас пайплайн был чуточку поломанный. То есть даже вот сейчас, просматривая эти кадры, можно видеть, что сначала мы идем за тем, чтобы поймать движение. И только потом мы начинаем придумывать дизайн.
Mhm. And we have several shots here. You can probably see them, and you can see the process of creating them as well. I have to note that for the character animation team, if they started from the character designs, it's natural, but in the VFX part of the production, everything went a little bit different. Actually, we were pretty lucky because we had 5 people on the team for the VFX, and we had 5 people who we have 5 different effects that basically needed to be created. So everyone had a little piece of the pie that they were able to chew. But we had a little bit of a different pipeline. You can even see now that first we search for the movement, for the rhythm of it. And after we find a good rhythm to track, we start to go more into the design aspect of it. Mhm.
Да, исключением из этого, наверное, стал вот этот замечательный шот с пламенем, с огнем, который, по сути, такой центральный является, потому что здесь меняется у нас еще и цветовая температура, везде у нас меняется освещение. Вот, и здесь вот этот, наверное, шот, он начался с дизайна. То есть у нас было очень много различных вариантов огня, и вы видите здесь формы более простые, более сложные. И здесь произошел интересный момент, что здесь есть огонь с геометрией. Вот, и эти огни с геометрией, они всем очень понравились, и они были признаны очень крутыми, потому что это перекликается с геометрией там мозаик, которые лежат на полу, и просто со всем храмом. Но одновременно с этим ко всем пришло понимание, что мы не можем делать именно такой огонь, потому что он потребует замены тогда всех эффектов, возможно, замены облаков, а это значит, если они будут, это поменяются фоны, и таким образом это конкретный редизайн просто всего проекта, и мы не можем себе это позволить, и в итоге мы пришли к более стандартным, к более таким гладким огням, которые у нас появились в проекте.
Mhm.
Это пример того, как, безусловно, крутой дизайн может быть отложен для того, чтобы не сломать весь остальной дизайн.
And the only exception for this process was the shot with the fire. And it was pretty central for us for our process because one of the key ones, after that, the temperature changes, the mood of the tribute starts to change once we have all of these fires going on. And we had a lot of different variations on the design, on the shapes of it, and on the visual language of it. We had more simple ones and more complicated ones. And we have one of the fires that was very geometric. Everyone really liked it, and everyone found it really, really cool and impressive. And they had all of these like connections with the mosaics on the floor and the environment of itself. But at the same time, it was very, very complicated. And if you're changing one part of the environment into this like very geometric design, other stuff in the environment, like clouds, also have to be changed. And that's just a lot of additional work that would basically break the stuff that's already been built and that's already like settled. So we decided to step back a little bit and pick a more standard version of the fire so it would go better with the rest of the character and environment design. So that's basically an example of sometimes you could have a very good design, but you have to take it back a little so it would actually work with the rest of the project. Mhm.
С дизайном получилась еще одна интересная штука. Вот. Правда, это я не тот шот включил, это вот здесь. То есть, когда мы изобретали движение, у нас еще время от времени здесь менялось силуэт, собственно, Афины, потому что он постоянно улучшался, улучшался и улучшался, и в конце концов он дошел до финального своего состояния. Но забавный момент, что если посмотреть на предварительные кадры, какие-то первые дизайны, первые варианты анимации эффектов, как это все собирается. Вот здесь в нижнем правом углу я увидел вот этот темный силуэт и такой смотрю на него и думаю: о, старина Вейдер, сколько лет, сколько зим, как давно я тебя не видел. И Кейт, которая рисовала, собственно, здесь пыталась сделать этот эффект, которая его разрабатывала, она посмотрела и сказала: да, слушай, действительно, это он. Прошло еще немножко времени, она такая пишет в чатик: так, это все, конечно, хорошо, а как теперь это развидеть? Но постепенно от этого силуэта отошли, и мы получили тот силуэт Афины, который есть.
Mhm. And also another interesting part about the design, when we were figuring out the movement for the Athena silhouette when she shows up from the mist, we were improving it week by week, and we almost got to the final part. But if you actually see in the right left corner, in one of the earlier designs, you could see that one of the silhouettes is actually looking like Darth Vader. And we laughed at it, but they were like, how do we unsee it? How do we not like evoke a Darth Vader feel when we have to show up Athena? And it took us some time, but eventually we found the right way to change it and move away a little bit from the kind of fun coincidence we found. But yeah. Mhm.
И если уже говорим про вообще про дизайн и про все, как получалось, в общем, у нас там был интересный и забавный комментарий, можно перейти, наверное, к рефам еще. И был замечательный комментарий из разряда кто-то на Ютубе спросил, что интересно бы узнать, а вот аниматоры, когда делали этот замечательный этот ролик, и когда эффиксеры его делали, они там смотрели какие-то старые мультфильмы, и они вдохновлялись там ими или... Ну, короче, нет, мы, естественно, придумали все сами, вот этих кадров мы никогда нигде не видели, вот. И вообще у нас их срисовали. Но, по сути, конечно, для эффиксеров именно вот эти фрагменты из Синбада, это был прям основной реф. Естественно, мы не можем повторить это, и потому что у нас во-первых, другая задача, во-вторых, надо, как говорят, не воровать, а вдохновляться. Но, тем не менее, очень многие люди вспомнили как раз именно этот момент, и, значит, нам удалось сделать то, что мы хотели, значит, нам удалось каким-то образом взять эту динамику, переделать ее на свой лад. И был еще один интересный момент. Это, наверное, кто-то узнал, это Грис, замечательная совершенно игрушка. И вот этот момент появления вот этой птички, он тоже сыграл свою роль, хотя мы его обнаружили очень поздно, но тем не менее это позволило нам сделать некоторые эффекты такими, как они в итоге вышли в финале. То есть, если посмотреть, то итоговый вариант, он пытается стремиться к тому, что мы видели в старых творениях аниматоров.
And if we're talking about design, I remember I was reading comments on the a comment section on the under the tribute, and there was this one comment like, I'm wondering, did animators who did the special effects, were they kind of taking inspirations from old like 2D animated films? And to that I have to say no. No, we created everything from scratch. We didn't have a single reference actually. And there was nothing looking like it. We just had to conjure it up from our heads. And actually, no, they traced us. They went forward in time and took our animation and took it back. But no, of course, all of the VFXers, these little fragments, they were very important for creating our animations. And of course, having references is very important to us. Of course, we don't want to go and like trace it one for one. We had a very different task at hand and we needed a little bit of different feel. But a lot of people still got reminded of how Eris moved. And for us, it was actually a good thing. That means we were able to take what made her movement that special and ethereal and basically translate it for a different need that we had. So for us, that was, of course, a success. And of course, later on in the creation, we found another project. It's called Grease. And it's an amazing game if you haven't played it. And this moment of the bird and how it's like appearing from thin air was absolutely amazing. And we also try to be mindful of that moment and try to also implement it into the movement we have. So if you can see in the project, in the creation of it, we really try to nail that old 2D traditional animation feel and try to like replicate it in what we did.
Еще одна интересная вещь, которая получилась. Все шоты с эффектами, они очень и очень короткие, потому что, по сути, они не основные здесь во всем этом, во всей анимации. И, с одной стороны, это было плюсом, потому что, ну, условно, когда у тебя твоя работа длится на протяжении там 20 кадров, 20 фреймов, это как бы легко отрисовывается, это довольно быстро. Но с другой стороны, каким-то образом нам нужно по-прежнему передать динамику, нам нужно передать контраст, разницу масс, скоростей, вот этого всего, и это становится безумно сложным. Вот, самый длинный шот, который у нас был, это, наверное, там, где, собственно, сова, пролетевшая, она превращается, в общем-то, в Афину, и это был самый длинный шот. И когда я говорю длинный, это все равно 38 кадров. То есть уложить в это динамику было довольно сложно, особенно для нас, когда мы только этому, по сути, учились.
And also another interesting tidbit, all of the shots with the special effects were pretty short. They weren't the main kind of event of the shot. We were there supporting the characters and how they feel and move. And on one hand, it's very good, but we we had about 20 frames and it's pretty easy to draw. And on the same time, it was very, very hard because we had to convey the dynamics, the contrast of the weights and speeds, and to show it in a very short amount of time was very, very challenging for us. The longest shot, I think it was with the owl and how she was changing into Athena. And when I say long, it was 38 frames. So for us, it was a very big challenge to have all of these principles in mind and show something dynamic, and at the same time that something won't look monotone. And we were only learning in that process, so it was a big challenge. Mhm.
Так, ну и тогда как раз шестой шот у нас с превращением Афины. Здесь можно увидеть, что сначала мы как раз, как я и говорил, у нас чуть поломанный процесс, который мы начинаем не с концепта, а с проработки движения. И вот здесь как раз видно, что как меняется движение, как оно становится плавнее, как из первоначальной просто заглушки, которая обязана показать, что происходит, превращается в конечную анимацию и потом вливается как бы в общую канву повествования. Здесь тоже были некоторые сложности, исходя из того, что камера здесь движется, и поэтому нам нужно было сохранять очень много статики для того, чтобы не нарушать логику, для того, чтобы зритель мог оценивать движение такое, какое оно есть. То есть если есть движение массы, то должно быть движение именно массы и персонажа. Если есть движение камеры, то оно должно подсвечивать какие-то другие вещи. И это тоже была такая сложность, о которой догадываешься только когда непосредственно столкнешься с этим. Тем не менее, у нас вся команда FX-еров была рада принимать участие в этом проекте, и у многих даже появились какие-то желания. Там был вопрос насчет того, а хотели бы вы делать? Но у нас, после того, как мы сдали все свои анимации, все их подключили в проект и отдали уже на композ, была только одна мысль, что а неплохо было бы это все дело как-то продолжить или там нарисовать какие-то эффекты для других сцен эпика.
And you can see in the shot with Athena how the movement basically changes from this first draft where we had to find the rhythm and the movement of the thing, how slowly we work more and more in creating those exact shapes so we could convey every little part of it, and all of the little pieces would be basically as part of the story, and they would amplify the character and how they're feeling and how what mood we're trying to set for the audience. And also we had a lot of challenges with the camera because there's a lot of frames where the character is static, but at the same time the camera is moving. So we had to make sure that when the character is moving, it's actually the character, and when it's the camera moving, then the character is staying in one place. And we found out those different goals are actually you complete them in a very different way, and we kind of first encountered it only when we started working on the tribute. And also there was a question, would we like to complete another song from the epic musical? Actually, when our team did all of the animations and they submitted everything, the first thing we actually discussed how cool it would be if we could create more special effects, either for a different song or for a different tribute on the epic musical in general.
Yeah.
На этом все, наверное. So that's it about VFX, I guess.
Amazing.
Good job, really.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
This was an amazing little segue. It was really nice to listen how the production of the VFX goes. For those who are here with us, I actually want to remind you about our school, that we're focused on creating the professionals for 2D animation industry, and the short film course basically allows you to try those professional animator boots. There's traditional animation, cleanup, visual development, creation of the short film, So you can join us now. Go into the link in the description, check out our courses, and basically by the end of the stream, you can become part of it and be one of our students. And maybe in a couple of months, your work is going to be here shining on the big screen like the works of our students right now. But actually, we're not done with the whole, whole process of the production of the film, because to create that beautiful image and those colors that absolutely pop on the screen, we have one more person who's absolutely integral to the creation of the short film. So now we're welcoming our post-production heroes. And first of all, compositing. Welcome, Gala. We're finally happy to see you.
Poor Gala, 2 hours. 2 hours cold.
Yes. So I represent a team of compositing, wonderful compositing. Wow, it's real magic. 3 wonderful girls and I worked on it. And I want to tell a bit about how we worked. After finishing the compositing course with Yana, some of us joined an extra course on film development. And it was super useful because we faced real production problems and learned how to deal with them in practice. So at first call with main team, Varvara introduced us to the world of Epic, and we looked at reference, got inspired, and then we received a color script. Yes. That was our starting point. It helped us understand vibes, feeling, atmosphere, and what our team want. And probably the most important thing is we don't have it, unfortunately, at the beginning of the work. But the most important thing is style frame. Because if you have it, you can avoid a lot of problems in post-production because it's just one ready-made frame of animation with the backgrounds, with characters, and art director can use a lot of effects, what they want, and just show to team of compositing what did. And so after first call, we started testing different compositing ideas. Yes. And the first version of the video was very different. Everyone had their own approach. And on the team calls with the main team, with animators, we discussed what to keep, what to change, what just to throw out. And for example, we decided not to use blur on effects because they already looked great without it. And we only blurred the fire a bit to make it look more realistic. And we also spent a lot of time working on the characters' colors. So Odysseus' skin tone changed a lot of time. He was purple, greenish, wonderful.
Red.
Yes, red. And if we had a style frame at the beginning, I guess we avoided a problem with it, but we found that example just on last, or I guess last week. But it's okay. It's our first project. It's
Who
wonderful.
didn't prepare a style frame for compositing?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And we search and made it. And at the end, we have just one person who made a color correction because we have a different screens and they show different colors. So it did by me because I editing the whole video. And I needed to make a color correction. So, and that's it.
Boom, just like press the button and the whole compositing just like
Yes, just 2 minutes.
yeah. No, but it was compositing actually is extremely important step because like I mean every step can ruin everyone's work or can amplify it and make it even better. So yeah, compositing is like a final touch, and we had a lot of like conversations. Like I was not on the meetings with the compositing team, but I constantly received from Varvara versions, and they criticize everyone and
Yeah.
said, what the hell, like
Just a second.
no.
Yes. We discussed, I guess, all day and all night about everything. So,
Yeah.
but it was really useful. Great experience.
Yeah. I mean, really, in the end, we just get really cool and appealing result, and like congratulations to everyone. Like amazing work, the fix team and the compositing team and animators team and visual developments team. Everyone.
Yeah. And all of those teams, the production wouldn't go as well and as smoothly if there wasn't someone who would be responsible for all of the logistics and deadlines and notifications and asking everyone to be on time. So I want to give a little shout out and a little time in front of the mic to Varvara as well, because she was mainly responsible for everything running as smooth as it did. So would you like to talk a little bit more about how that process went?
Yes. Can you demonstrate my? Yes. Thank you. So we had this big, serious table with all shots, all stages of animation and background and everything. By the way, I love tables. And keeping everything intact.
Oh, Varvara,
Excel #1 fan.
Yes, that's me. So about how we assigned shots, like decided who will make what shots for animators, character animators. We made several groups of shots. Like this shots were in the same group if they were strictly connected, because we don't have any time skips in our animation. So there are a lot of shots in which the same character moves constantly, but from different angles. And if different people making those shots, it's maybe it's always hard to synchronize, to make no jumps, like so the movement will be the same speed, the same the same pose from shot to shot. So we tried to give those strictly connected shots to the same people, and it worked well. If one person made several shots in a row, there were almost no jumps between them. They were very smoothly from one to one go. And I recommend it. Also, we had not only the 3 main animators from the course, like the students. We also had a lot of helpers. They are not like literally students. They didn't pay for the course. They didn't attend the meetings with our mentors, but they helped us a lot with animation. As you can see at the table, they made I think more than half of the work.
Wow.
Hmm?
Wow.
Yes, there is a lot of work. It's too much for just 3 people. So thank you for them. We wouldn't be able to achieve all this alone.
Exactly.
So this about
Yeah.
a bit about organization.
A bit how everything went.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, this is project like a semi-professional, and for example, Varvara learned a lot about like how to talk to people, how to organize people, how to not push them too much, to not to leave them also like survive this project, not just like kill them all. So yeah, and again. It's amazing result, and everyone loved it. Jay loved it, and we just basically would love to continue this epic journey. Maybe a bit shorter than 20 years. But
Hopefully.
hopefully. But and get to the Etica.
One day. We have a couple of questions. Oh, we actually got another one, but let's start with the first one for the VFX team. Monica is asking, did you animate the VFX post to pose or straight ahead? You can answer in Russian and I'll translate for you.
Okay, if I can answer in Russian, I can answer in Russian. FX — это такая штука, где иногда лучше применять один подход, иногда другой, а иногда лучше их комбинировать. И здесь у нас получалось, что в части шотов, например, огонь, там была просто сквозная анимация. Вот. Если брать шоты, как, например, с появлением, как бы с морфингом совы, то там все-таки мы делали кейфреймы, расставляли. Вот, там были несколько их там, но между ними все равно анимация была прям прямой, потому что как бы FX — это такая штука, у которой нет собственной воли, и она анимируется по законам физики, и поэтому иногда ты лучше чувствуешь его, если ты идешь прям вот просто последовательно, накручивая это все. И иногда приходится чуть переделывать кейфреймы даже в угоду этому. То есть здесь оба подхода. И так как здесь у нас не было еще зацикленных эффектов, то их проще было прям рисовать просто насквозь. Если бы они были зациклены, то там уже нужно было бы чуть по-другому подходить.
А насквозь ты имеешь в виду
Straight ahead.
Okay,
Да.
just to be sure. Special effects is such a thing where sometimes you have to do it one way, then you have to do a different effect another way, and sometimes you have to combine the two. For example, the fire was absolutely straight ahead. When we're talking about that owl that was morphing into Athena, we had keyframes in specific places, but in between them, we tried to go straight ahead. The thing about special effects, it doesn't have a will of its own. It's usually very dictated by the physics of what's happening with the particles. And sometimes you better go straight ahead just because you feel the weight and the rhythm a little bit better. And sometimes the straight ahead could even change the major keys if you feel that the movement flows better that way. And you know, in some places it's easier to go straight ahead, but if you're doing something that's like a cycle that repeats a lot of the times, keys would be also very, very important. So hopefully that answered your question. There's another question from Loopy Arts, and I think it goes a little bit more to Varvara. Question: what advice would you give when it comes to being like a leader animation director on the project? If there's something you could.
Yes, I think in terms of technical stuff, first I even before the Epic, I worked in different studios as an animator, so I knew a lot of about how everything is usually organized. and what is comfortable for a worker and what is not. So have an experience in real animation would be very good. And for technical stuff, you should put yourself into places of other people and see what they need, what questions they may have, what materials they need, what information about the project they need, and provide everything to them. And also think how it would be the most comfortable way to receive this information, like in a table, in a document, in a video. And there is a lot of social stuff when you're a director of a project. And about this, I recommend to be very polite and kind and always tell people that they are very important and making a good job. But at the same time, you have to be very certain about the deadlines, about what exactly we need, and not letting people to be late or to do what's bad for a project, because if there is something at one stage of a project, it will influence the other steps, and it may cause problems for other people on the project. But at the same time, you should be very, very, very polite and very kind. And yes, so this main thing, social stuff and technical stuff.
A delicate balance. Okay, there's one more question we're asking, and then we'll slowly roll to a close. Well, our last question, and actually it's anyone who would like to answer, they're willing to do this. Off topic for the whole group question. What is your favorite song from Epic, if you have one? There we go.
Well, I definitely have.
Go.
It's hard to pick just one song, obviously. I love the entire musical. No Longer You is definitely one of my favorites. I think along with probably the Vengeance Saga as a whole. Those are the ones that stick out to me.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I'd like to say also, I think I'd never told anyone, but I actually like the monster most. It's it was the song where I actually understood, wow, it's not going to be a happy ending story. It's going to go downhill from that. Oh,
everybody die.
Yeah, I was so hooked. Before, I thought, okay, it's going to get better, right? Right? But then monster, and Odysseus is monster, becoming monster, and wow. So that's my favorite song.
Probably I like all the boss fight songs, I guess. I mean, Polyphemus, I mean Circe, but Circe, it's a little bit different. Circe Saga is all the best, and for me only, and I like it to. It's Circe Saga. It's like one single song. For me, it's like that.
Yeah.
Anything with Hermes and Poseidon. I know Wouldn't You Like and Dangerous by heart. Actually, no, I agree with. I don't have a favorite because there's just so many songs that I know by heart. Let's be honest, I actually know all of the songs really well.
Yeah.
Because actually, no, never mind. I like all of the songs. I don't have a favorite. I realized wait, which is the song that I actually know the lyrics the best of, and I realized I can basically sing every single song.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, for me, for example, I have too many favorite songs. But since I'm like just like thinking about that, I think Storm, then Puppeteer. Really love this conversation with his friend, and then like I don't remember his names, their names, like Eurylicus, and then just like when there is a woman, it's like we couldn't deal with her. This was super cool. And the third, I think I really remember them when he revealed his name, this moment, like I'm Odysseus, and just like makes me like a goose, how to say this thing. And maybe the last one, it's a Scylla. Really love this darkness and this like this moment. Yeah, these 4 songs. I mean, it's the most favorite.
Once I have a favorite song, I listen it for like literally 1,000 times, and then I switch to another favorite song.
Yeah, you just kill it. Just next.
And who is the favorite character?
Oh, here we go.
What
Another
do you mean?
round.
What do you mean?
Odysseus.
Of course, of course.
Circe, actually, and maybe Poseidon.
Hmm.
Zeus, controversial opinion, cuff me.
And for me,
I like
Hermes.
Zeus.
Yeah.
Valid. Everyone's very valid. Let's.
I'm sorry. I actually liked this girl on the island.
Calypso.
Oh, Calypso.
Calypso. Actually, I really liked for Calypso. Really, and her songs, like very cute. Yeah.
I love her voice.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on. Let's finish it.
Yeah. Let's conclude our workshop. We've been here for quite some time, and a lot of us are getting a little bit tired. But I'm very, very happy to see how chat was very, very active today. They were asking amazing questions. So thank you for being here, whether live or in a recording. It means a lot to us that you gave so much love to the tribute, and of course gave so much love to our guests today. So I'm moving to the next thank you for all of the people who decided to join me today, our mentor, and all of the students who took a very important, integral part in creating the whole tribute. Without you, it wouldn't exist in the first place. So thanks to you, we're all here being able to talk about us right now. Of course, thank you to our technical specialist, Vitaly, that he turned all of the screens whenever we needed them and arranged all the cameras. It was a lot of extra work, and we very, very much appreciate that you give us this amazing professional look. And of course, thank you to me for being so amazing and awesome. But gotta stay
Kata,
humble. So
amazing work. Amazing work, really.
No. But
Amazing.
overall, yeah. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you're going to have a good weekend, a good rest of your week, that you'll rest and relax enough, and that we'll see all of you on our next workshop or on the next courses in the class. Maybe it's your work that's going to shine on the next short film project. You never know. So with that, thank you so much for being here. We love you. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Edward Kurchevsky, and I want to invite you to our new course, Short Film Creation. This course is divided by 4 directions: animation, visual development, 2D FX animation, and compositing. This is a unique opportunity to get experience in teamwork and also try a real studio process in a short amount of time. At the first month, you will come up with your idea, create a storyboard, and also with the help of visual development team, you will create a unique design to your world and story. At the second month, you will work on your individual shots, dividing the work among yourself. At the third month, 2D FX artist will complement your shots with suitable visual effects. At the end of the project, a group of compositors will start to assemble your project and add cinematic feel to the picture. You can join one of these courses right now. Detailed information of the course in the description. See you there.
Show yourself. I know you're watching me. Show yourself. I can see you.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff.
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try, but two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest, I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest, you are Athena.